level. Cursive, writing in cursive is flow. You have flow in life and easily flow, and it sets neural pathways to create flow. And when you write something down, it draws your attention on it. So writing teaches the brain on what to focus on. And instead of focusing on the one mistake that we have, writing, if I were to write angels, wings, fly, I wrote those things every day, just sitting with my little journal and writing them in cursive, my mind would be in harmony with that, and it would teach my brain what to put its attention on. When you do this, I want to encourage you to write in the present tense as if it's already yours, as if you've already acquired it, so that you're not in that searching zone or waiting for something to happen, or hoping and saying, one day I will have. Own it now and be in that vibrational match of already have attaining it. So when you're writing these goals, I would recommend that it could show up as a skill, accomplishment, or a material gain. And when you write your 3 goals, that somewhere in there, that those were things that you could look into. Some kind of skill, such as playing the piano, an accomplishment, going hiking a mountain that you haven't hiked before, or some kind of material gain, that's something that you've always wanted to attain that you haven't done yet or haven't had the funds. So the note that I want to share with that is writing down daily goals in cursive, bringing this back into alignment in this flow of life, again, comes back into ease. And that's one of the things that many people tend to hold back from attaining their goals, is that lack of ease, or fear that the work is going to be too much work for what the value is going to be for you. So again, when we tend to focus on our mistakes, we overlook our accomplishments. So that is where the attention on writing these things is going to be really important. And as society has trained us that focusing on accomplishments, that we are perceived as prideful. And I would say we see that quite a bit. And even if we feel something that you feel very proud of, say, for instance, if I were taking a class and really doing really well with something, I wouldn't necessarily meet up with my girlfriends and go, okay, here's the deal. I have been wanting to do this for a really long time, and I'm really good at it. I just stand in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you are rocking it out. You're learning those Spanish words better. Muy bueno. I'm just so proud that I can actually say muy bueno. And we don't show up like that, right? It's prideful, and it wouldn't take very long for the people in our life going, yeah, we heard you learned Spanish, good. But one thing that I have learned for me is that when I can focus on skills that make me feel better about myself, I can share it with people that are excited for me. And one of the things a skill that I wanted to learn many years ago is when I would watch any show that had dancing, or my daughter actually was a really great dancer. She would take some dancing classes in high school, and when they were young, they actually performed quite a bit in these different dancing performances. And I wasn't a mom who needed to live vicariously through my child, but I didn't have that opportunity when I was young. And I really do enjoy dancing, and when music's on, it doesn't take me long to build a rhythm with that. But I always felt like it's something I wanted to do. I wanted to take a dance class, and I wasn't necessarily drawn to ballet, or I wasn't into ballroom. I really actually enjoyed hip hop. And so I joined a hip hop dance classes locally, and it was very challenging initially because everybody else who was in the class, they were also adults, but they had been dancing for many years. And so I didn't obviously have the skills that they had, and initially it was very challenging for me, but I would come home and I'd practice the music and the steps, and I'm really glad to say that in a matter of about 3 or 4 months we did a performance, and I felt very confident that I did well. Initially that wasn't the case. When we would be dancing, and there's the mirrors that line the walls in the dance room, and he would say to do a movement. I would look in the mirror and it was awkward. It didn't look so hot, and I thought my mind could see what they were doing and what they needed to be doing, but my body wasn't moving the same way. So with practice, with intention, I ended up gaining that skill, and I felt really good about it. So when I did that though, I realized that when I was making a mistake, that if I turned my mindset to realize that mistakes are teachers and they help us learn. And if we didn't ever have any mistakes, we would have these gauging points to reflect and go, okay, I need to make a little bit of an adjustment here. So looking at them as bad or wrong, we miss valuable information and growth opportunities. And if I were to focus on not gaining advanced skills, I would miss the opportunity and accomplishment of being able to perform and be in that environment and that excitement of like, oh, we got it in the performance. And so I really enjoyed that opportunity, and I was glad to say that I ended up doing that. So with the goals, I would like to recommend that when you do set a goal, that accomplishments, knowing that accomplishments can be simple. I didn't need to know an entire routine at the very beginning. I just needed to learn a few steps. And there was I remember there was one at the very, very beginning, the first 5 seconds of the dance. There was some very clean-cut specific moves that needed to be happening. And initially, I didn't pull that off very well. But the teacher stayed with me a little bit, and the way I was moving it, he just showed me a little bit of adjustment that I could make, and I was able to do that. So this can be a simple accomplishment, bringing the brain back into alignment of accomplishment zone, being in that success category, and moving forward. So the next thing is I want to say is to journal daily and look for evidence of changes for success. Again, getting back into that accomplishment zone. Evidence reinforces your belief system. And so when I saw that there was other areas that I picked up in the dance, that I'm like, I did that. That was hard when I jumped over that guy. That was hard initially, but I picked it up, and I could eventually feel confident in the other skills that I did. And the next step that I would like to recommend is when you have your goals that you set, it doesn't have to make huge changes in your lifestyle. Your lifestyle, it's creating patterns and habits that eventually progress into a lifestyle change. And so my recommendation is maybe 15 minutes. Writing it down every day, and then maybe 15 minutes of your time to lean into it. Staying in the forward movement, And then the final thing is thinking in visual terms can be challenging. And I recommend adding that language from the verbal standpoint of the brain that this could be broken down into a characteristic change you want to acquire, a relationship that you want to improve, or a material possession, and then have it something, you could Google an image or something that visually could represent that. And one way for me that I wanted to, if I were to look into a way of maybe having more service, be more service oriented or more loving or compassionate, that can maybe show up as a picture of Mother Teresa. So that visual recommendation of looking at that every day and then writing those down, and then taking daily cues from that, a couple minutes every day, leaning into one of those, just choosing one of those. And finally with that, I would just like to say, believe that you can receive and that you deserve what you want. That's all you need to do, is just have the belief that it's yours, and then leading into that. So thank you so much. That's all I have to share today, and I really appreciate your time. Again, I'm Vicki Warner, and I really encourage you to go out and take a few minutes and look into getting some goals.